Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this Fighter in Focus video, we'll be taking a close look at the Swampcaller Shaman for Age of Sigmar and Warcry. Here's our Swampcaller Shaman from the Kruleboyz, and this is the type of fighter that you take in as a wizard to do some magic on the battlefield. And it's an awesome miniature taken from the Dominion box set, and he also comes along with his pot grot as well. But in this video we'll go through the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warscroll, so you can see all the details of how this will work in the game, and then we'll also take a look at how we can use this fighter in Warcry with a Warcry fighter card and ability that I put together, and you'll be able to download those for free, and I'll put a link for that in the description below. And here's our miniature all put together. And this was really easy to build, pretty much push fit, but I did glue it, and I also trimmed some of those connectors a little bit just to get a finer seal between the different parts. But with all these swampy bits hanging off it and so much texture and detail, those seams between the parts where they're put together are really difficult to see. And even with this little guy, I mean, this detail is fantastic on this model, the pot grot, but really easy to put together. And I think this is definitely one of my favourite pairs from this whole Dominion box set. I love these models, and I can't wait to get these painted and on the tabletop. Size-wise, just to have a look, we're looking at about 70mm for the highest part of the Swampcaller Shaman, and about 30 to 40mm for that little pot grot. And here you can see them alongside some of the other models from the Kruleboyz, which should give you a good idea of just how big these models are. These are from the Dominion box set, and if you'd like to pick up this set with these models, then this is still available and you can get it from Games Workshop, but I've got some links in the description below for you that can save you up to 20% on the RRP. Now we've had a look at the models up close, let's take a little look at the lore and background and how they fit into the Age of Sigmar before we move on and start looking at the cards. Swampcaller Shamans are the spellflingers and advisors of the Kruleboyz, greenskins in tune with the roiling war energy that surrounds an Orruk horde on the warpath. It is they who brew the many potions and elixirs favoured by these Orruks, and where they walk, the seeping filth of their homes follows. Though they may appear hunched and crooked, only a fool underestimates a Swampcaller Shaman. A wily gleam forever shines in these greenskins' piggish gaze. It is rare to find a Kruleboy raid launched without one of these shuffling spellflingers accompanying its boss, muttering the will of Mork into his ears. Swampcaller Shamans, however, are no simple advisors. They are conduits for roiling war energy, Orruks who possess the ability to harness the crude magics of their race without immediately detonating in a burst of green light. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the spells wrought by a Swampcaller Shaman all possess an ugly, slimy edge. A Swampcaller can transform the ground beneath their enemies to a sucking peat bog or summon foul-smelling mists to hide the advance of their mates. As well as more traditional spell flinging, it is the shamans who create the toxins and bog brews so readily employed by the Kruleboyz and feared by their enemies. Swampcallers simply toss whatever ingredients feel right into their dented cauldron, bidding their pot grot minion to stir it all up while grunting appropriate sounding ritual phrases. These elixirs can lend a Kruleboyz weapon such a toxic edge that sheer proximity seems able to kill, while the gouts of thick, writhing smoke produced by their mad alchemy disorients and distracts even the most dedicated foe, allowing the shaman to shuffle away or get in a palpable hit with their fetish draped stuffs. That's a brief introduction to the Swampcaller Shaman, just to give you a little idea of the background. So now let's move on and take a look at the War Scroll, and here's the layout of the War Scroll. If you're not sure about this, you can find out all about it in the core book that comes with the Dominion box set. Let's start with the model characteristics, and a Swampcaller Shaman has got a movement of 5, they save on a 5+, their bravery is 6, and they can take 6 wounds. You'll see in their description here that a Swampcaller Shaman and pot grot is armed with a bogbark staff, and this unit is a wizard and can attempt to cast one spell in your hero phase and attempt to unbind one spell in the enemy hero phase, And then you can see here they've got the companion, and this Swampcaller Shaman is accompanied by a pot grot that attacks with its backup stabber. The pot grot must remain within 1 inch of the Swampcaller Shaman. For rules purposes, the Swampcaller Shaman and pot grot are treated as a single model. And then moving on to the weapons, we've got those 2 weapons. So we've got the Bogbark Staff, and that's got a range of 3. You can make 2 attacks. It's a 3+ to hit, a 3+ to wound, -1 to rend, and then the damage is a D3. And then you've got that backup stabber as well, which is a range of 1. You can make 2 attacks. It's a 4+ to hit and a 4+ to wound, no rend, and the damage is 1. Next, we've got the abilities. There's quite a lot going on here, so we'll take them one at a time, starting with poisons and elixirs. Swampcaller Shamans brew up deadly poisons and disgusting but life-saving elixirs, which they distribute to their Kruleboyz mates to aid them in battle. In your hero phase, if this unit is more than 3 inches from all enemy units, instead of attempting to custody spells with this unit, you can say that they are brewing either a potion or an elixir. If you do so, pick one friendly Kruleboyz Orruk unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit, more than 3 inches from all enemy units, and that has at least one model within 3 inches of this unit to be given that poison or elixir. A unit that has been given a poison or elixir cannot be given another poison or elixir in the same hero phase. If that unit is given a poison until your next hero phase, when you use the Venom Encrusted Weapons Allegiance ability for that unit, mortal wounds are caused on an unmodified roll of 5+ instead of 6. If that unit is given an elixir, add 1 to save rolls for that unit until your next hero phase. Okay, so there's a lot going on there with this ability, and I think this is certainly one of those that might be a little bit tricky to kind of picture and would be a good one to play out on the battlefield and just practice before you actually play a game. So that's the first one. But we've got another one called Summon Boggy Mist. Raising their hands with a guttural belch, the Swampcaller transmutes the ground into marshland. As they do so, thick and foul-smelling swamp mists smother the field, distracting enemies and aiding the Kruleboyz in a stealthy advance. Summon Boggy Mist is a spell that has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, until your next hero phase, add 1 to charge rolls for friendly Kruleboyz Orruk units on the battlefield and subtract 1 from charge rolls for other units on the battlefield. So this is a lot more straightforward. A nice ability there. Summon Boggy Mist gives the advantage to your Kruleboyz so they can push forward, but then reduces that charge for your enemy. So some nice abilities there. Then we've got the keywords, and they are Destruction, Orruk Warclans, Orruk, Kruleboyz, Hero, Wizard, Swampcaller Shaman, and Potgrot. Now we've had a look at how the Swampcaller Shaman fits in with Age of Sigmar, let's take a look at Warcry, starting with the Warcry fighter card. And this is the card I put together along with all the other fighters that come with the Kruleboyz, and I made up some abilities for them too. And it's all free to download. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in checking that out. But let's get started with our Swampcaller Shaman, and this is a leader figure that we can choose for our Warcry warband, and they're going to come in at 195 points. They get the leader rune mark, the mystic rune mark, and you see I've put the thrall rune mark on there as well, and that's going to link them in with the Potgrot that you'll see in a moment. They've got a movement of 3, toughness 4, can take 28 wounds, and they've got 2 weapon options. The first is that typical kind of mystic shaman weapon from a range of 3 to 7. It's going to have 2 attacks, strength 3, dealing 3 to 6 on a crit. Now if you get up close, he's got that stuff which he's going to hit you with, range of 2, 3 attacks, strength 4, dealing 1 to 4 on a crit. So a couple of options there, and this is a great leader to take in if you really like that mystical shaman figure as your leader in Warcry. Next we've got the Potgrot, and in Age of Sigmar when you play the War Scroll, these two are counted as one model or one fighter, but in Warcry I wanted them to be separate, so you've got the option of bringing this guy on or not. So the Potgrot is going to come in a lot less at 55 points. He's got that Thrall rune arc that's going to link him to the Swampcaller Shaman. He's got a movement of 3, toughness 3, can take 8 wounds. His weapon is a range of 1, can make 3 attacks, strength 3, dealing 1 to 3 on a crit. So he's not going to do an awful lot of damage here, but it really is all about the ability for this guy. So you want to be including him in your warband if you want to make the most of this ability. So let's take a look at the abilities for both the fighters now. I really wanted this fighter to have a lot going on the battlefield, so any leader with the Kruleboyz rune arc and the leader rune arc will get 2 abilities. But this one, the Swampcaller Shaman, will get 2 others because he's got that Mystic rune arc and the Thrall. But the first one that any leader can use is called Go Get Them, and this is a double. And until the end of the battle round, we add 1 to the move characteristic of friendly fighters when they are within 6 inches of this fighter. So this is just all about pushing them forward and driving them towards the enemy. Then we've got a triple. Again, any leader can use this from the Kruleboyz, called Cunning Tactics. And until the end of the battle round, friendly fighters within 9 inches of this fighter can make a bonus disengage move. And this is all about pushing them forward, getting them in the attack, but then they can make a bonus disengage and keep that distance between them and the enemy. Next, we've got 2 abilities that are unique to the Swampcaller Shaman. And the first one is a triple called Swamp Gas, and he can use this even if the Potgrot isn't included in the warband. Until the end of the battle round, subtract 1 from the attacks characteristic to a minimum of 1 of attack actions made by enemy fighters while they are within 6 inches of this fighter. So he's really making the most of that Swamp Gas to stop the enemy's attacks and reduce those attack actions coming down on him. But if you do include the Potgrot, then you can use this quad ability, which is called Potent Bruise. Add the value of this ability to the move characteristic of friendly fighters within 9 inches of this fighter when this fighter uses this ability until the end of the battle round. So I put this ability in to play along with the narrative of the Bog Bruise, and so once they can put that together using the Potgrot to mix it up in the cauldron, then all the friendly fighters within 9 inches of this fighter get that huge addition to their movement and they can really drive towards the enemy. So there we go, that's all the abilities that we can use with our leader, but there's also some fighter abilities that the leader can use and also that Potgrot can use. So let's look at those next. And so the first one is a double called Scare 'em Good. If 2 fighters are within 2 inches of each other, roll a dice. On a 4+, any enemy fighters within 2 inches of both fighters must move back 1d3 inches. So this sounds like a lot going on, but I think this is kind of played into the idea of the scare shields, and they want to force the enemy back, but there's got to be like 2 of them, and there are a few conditions, but I think this could work out really good. Plus, with that moving back the 1d3 inches, it's not guaranteed to be a huge effect, so it depends how scary they are. So I really like that idea for the double. But there's another one, which is a quad, so let's look at that now. So this quad is called Stinky Backstabbers. Until the end of this fighter's activation, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of attack actions made by this fighter. In addition, each time any fighter, be it enemy or friendly, is taken down by attack actions made by this fighter, this activation, this fighter can make a bonus move action. So this is all about getting those extra attacks in, those sneaky stabs, and they can even take it out on their own friendly fighters if they want to, which would be a crazy way of playing into their whole narrative of cunning and backstabbing tactics. So that's a quick run through of the Swampcaller Shaman's Age of Sigmar War Scroll and also Warcry fighter cards and abilities, and you'll be able to download those cards and abilities for free, and I'll put a link in the description below. And if you're looking to pick up that Dominion box set, there's also links for that in the description, saving you up to 20% discount on the RRP, and there'll be affiliate links, but they won't cost you anything extra. In fact, you can save up to that 20%, and for every sale made through those links, I get a small commission, and that helps me do loads more with the channel, and so thanks so much for that support. I really appreciate it. I'm making these Fighter in Focus videos for all the fighters that are included in the Dominion box set, so check out the Killer Boss on Gnashtooth, that's already up, and there's also the Knight Arcanum, the Merc Knob, and Indrasta. They're all on the channel for you to have a look at too. But I'd love to know what you think about this fighter in focus, the Swampcaller Shaman. So join in the comments below and let me know what you think about him. Is this something that you would include in your Age of Sigmar army and Warcry warband? But thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. If you like this kind of content and would like to support the channel, then please check out my Patreon page, and thanks to everyone who's joined so far. It's really awesome. We hang out on Discord, talk about the hobby, share ideas and help each other out, and you'll get some perks there that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'll put a link in the description and it'll be great to see you there.